A disembodied voice. I'm proud to introduce our 6th graders. Please welcome them.
I wonder what it's like to have all this attention. It can't be easy.
Yeah, I know. They have a lot to do. They have to help raise a lot of money. They have to find friends and family who will contribute. They have to get a lot of people to support the cause. And they have to give speeches.
And apparently, when they are scheduled to speak, they have to get some other big shot to get up and say nice things about them first, before they actually talk. That sure adds up to a lot of boring speeches.
And then they have to worry about what they wear, and they have to be all smiley and everything, and greet people and shake hands.
And what about kissing all those babies?
And, yeah. Wait, babies? What babies? People don't bring their babies to the SHAS. Wait a minute. Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about the presidential candidates. Who are you talking about?
Oh, I'm talking about the SHAS dinner honorees.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been tough living with my parents these last few weeks. They're all the SHAS dinner this and the SHAS dinner that. But they are not nervous. I mean, they are as confident as a place kicker kicking a 32-yard field goal.
Whatever, I'm sure it's not that big a deal.
Seriously, you have no idea. Well, someday, maybe if your parents ever work hard and dedicate themselves to maybe they'll be honored at a fancy schmancy dinner. Then you'll have to hear all about the ad journals and donations and speeches.
Well, if my parents are honored, I'll make sure it isn't on the biggest football night of the year.
You'll still have to go to the dinner, and you'll have to keep posing for pictures. Do you know what it's like to have someone taking pictures all the time?
Yeah, right, whatever. But I guess the people who are honored at these dinners are pretty special.
Yeah, the SHAS dinner honorees do a lot for the school. They're very dedicated leaders.
We should get back to work, so we'll be prepared for Mrs. Ramelson's current events class. Today we're talking about the candidates, the ones who are left anyway. They keep dropping out of the race. Why are they so messed up?
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't it be great if the candidates were better leaders, better people, more like the kind of people we honor in our community?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 337th debate of this young political season. I'm ABC reporter Koki Roberts, and this is political critic John Stewart. We will be your moderators for this evening. As you may know, this debate was originally supposed to be moderated by Donald Trump. But since Mr. Trump insisted on not only being a moderator, but being a candidate as well, the debate organizers felt that he might not be completely objective in this job. And so they had to say, Donald, you're fired.
So, I hope you don't mind that I trumped, and I hope you all okie dokie with Koki. Now, let's meet the candidates. As you know, several candidates have already dropped out of the race, beset by one scandal after another. We have with us tonight the remaining pool of highly qualified individuals. They all have what it takes to be embraced by the voters, at least initially. Namely, they are not Mitt Romney. Well, except for Mitt Romney.
All right, here hoping to serve as your next president, please welcome, from the Republican Party, Governor Mitt Romney. From the Bubba Anna birthday party, Dr. Dan Shimshak. From the Metcalf party, Mrs. Ellen Cashel. And from the It's Your Party, Amy
Candidates, the rules for tonight's debates are simple. We will ask questions posed by the news media or mailed in by American citizens. You will have a brief time to answer and to rebut when necessary.
Let's start with Mitt Romney. Governor, what do you think is the greatest crisis the country is facing, and how can you solve it?
Koki, I have said time and time again that jobs are our greatest challenge, and I know the pain of the pink slip.
Really? How so? Have you ever lost a job?
No, but while at Bank Capital, I got a massive paper cut for handing out pink slips. Look, Koki, I'm a businessman who spent many years in the private sector. I'm the only candidate who's qualified to fix the economy.
Excuse me, Koki.
Yes, Adam Goldman?
I must disagree with the governor. There is no one who has dealt with a greater financial challenge than I. I mean, really, treasurer of SHAS. It doesn't get any tougher than that. If I can deal with the financial challenges that Jewish day schools face, the U.S. economy will be a piece of crumpet.
All right, the next question is for Dr. Shimshak. Dan, Mr. Romney holds to his strict Mormon beliefs, which include abstaining from all manner of alcohol. He has pledged that, should he become president, he will make sure that the White House is alcohol-free. Dan, would you commit to keeping that same pledge?
Well, let's just say I also have Mormon beliefs about alcohol. When I'm offered some, I say, more, man.
All right, thank you. This question is for Mr. Romney. Sir, one of the criticisms of you is that you're a Massachusetts flip-flopper. Do you accept that label?
Absolutely not. Koki, I was not from Massachusetts before I was from Massachusetts. When I was against the things I was not for, or before I was for the things I'm now against. As I said in Iowa, where I won before I lost, I may be a waffler, but I'm no flip-flopper.
Okay, let's go to Dr. Dan Shimshak again. Dan, recently, the networks requested that Congress lift its ban against profanity and obscenity, stating that there is no need to regulate foul language, which is already on the cable airwaves. How do you feel about this proposal?
Really? Great. Are you...
Thank you. The ban hasn't been lifted yet. Let's go back to Mitt Romney. Governor, you've often been labeled by your opponents on the right as a moderate. What is your response?
Look, Koki, I am not a moderate. This misconception comes from my name. I know that people have always wondered about my name. The name Mitt is actually a nickname for my Yiddish name, Mittel.
Mittel?
Yes, Mittel. And some people have confused the name Mittel with the English word middle, thus associating me with being in the middle, or being moderate. I am not. I reject that label.
All right, the same question goes to Mrs. Cashel. Mrs. Cashel, you've also been accused of being moderate. Would you like to refute that label as well?
No,
Excuse me?
no. I am not ashamed to say that I am moderate. I try to be fair and balanced and try not to overreact or to respond in any extreme way. I think that we are all better off when we can meet in the middle and can agree to get along.
Are you saying that you support compromise?
Well, in fact, I do. Compromise is not a dirty word like the partisan politicians would have us believe. The art of compromise and getting consensus has always been honorable in this country. And I'm proud to say that I'm always able to come to reasonable agreements with my students and colleagues through compromise.
Compromise?
What's she talking about?
Consensus?
I get it.
I don't get it. Compromise is good?
All right, let's try to regroup after such startling revelations. The next question is for Amy Goldman. Amy, can you tell us, if you are elected, what would be your first act as President of the United States?
Oh, John, that's a great question. Well, my first act as president would begin immediately with the inauguration festivities. As you know, every inaugural ball since James and Dolly Madison held theirs in 1809 has been held at the White House. The White House is okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I think it's time for a change in venue. Something contemporary or even retro. Maybe do an inaugural cruise, or I've checked out some very nice mansions that can be rented at a reasonable rate. Although, there wouldn't be any available for January 20th. So we'd have to think about changing the date of the inauguration.
But the date of the inauguration is federally mandated. You can't just start carving up the Constitution.
Carving station. Now that would be perfect.
How about you, Governor Romney? What would be your first undertaking as president?
Well, Cookie, I like firing people.
Okay, why don't we move on? This question is actually for all of the candidates. Ladies and gentlemen, if you took yourself out of the race, which of your opponents on this stage tonight would receive your support? That is, who here would you name as your president? Mitt Romney?
I mentioned the name Dan Shimshak.
Dan Shimshak.
Ellen Michelle?
I would have to say Dan Shimshak.
Well, Dan Shimshak, since your name seems to be on everyone's lips, let me ask you this. Address the rumors that your staff is insubordinate. When you have taken a day off from your campaign headquarters or left your staff for a few days, they've been known to undermine you. Behind your back, they show up to work wearing white button-down shirts, and in some cases, even ties. What does this say about your ability to control your people, and how will you avoid this subversion as president?
Oh, that's easy. I will make sure that I choose an excellent vice president so that when I'm off the job, my vice president will keep everything in order.
Well, why don't you tell us who that would be?
I would choose as my running mate, Ellen Michelle. Let's face it, there's no one better to work with than she. She's diligent, hardworking, and I know she'll be there to fill in for me if I take a few days off here and there. Everyone knows she goes above and beyond for her colleagues.
How about it, Mrs. Michelle? Would you accept the position of vice president?
Well, John, I don't need the prestige of the vice presidency. I mean, I'd be happy to help out my president, whoever it may be, if I'm needed. I'm always willing to put in a little extra time or cover for someone else if necessary. I can even help the president with scheduling. It's not about the title or the honor, it's about being a good coworker. Feel free to ask my colleagues, Dr. Wagner or Maura Cookie.
Cookie? That's an odd name. Can you imagine working with someone named Cookie? Cookie? That's creepy.
You're Poppy. Not everyone can be named John. Anyway, I would like to return to Adam Goldman and ask the following. Mr. Goldman, what do you think are the most important qualities that you possess that will allow you to be leader?
Well, I think that it is important to be fiscally responsible. And my range of experiences has told me to work within a budget. To be sure, I will work with both houses, Lords and Commons. When I am elected to serve as your Prime Minister.
Mrs. Cashel, the media, the public, your opponents, we've all tried, unsuccessfully, to find the skeletons in your closet. Aren't there any?
Of course I have a skeleton in my closet. And if you haven't found it, it's because you've been looking in the wrong place. I suspect you've looked in the 5th grade closet. But the skeleton is always kept in the 6th grade closet. I actually had to take it out because a student needs it, you see. Here it is. The skeleton from my closet. We'll be using it for the science fair. I'm just going to put it with the other science fair materials that I shopped for.
This question is for Amy Goldman. Mrs. Goldman, as you know, the President of the United States is the chief of the executive branch, the head of state, the commander-in-chief, and has many other jobs. He is said to wear many hats. How will you, as president, meet the responsibilities of wearing those many hats?
Oh, I don't do the hat business anymore. I wear one shaitel. It works for all occasions.
All right, candidates, we've touched on a lot of subjects. Domestic issues, public policy, questions of character, etc. But Americans need to hear about your foreign agenda as well. Mitt Romney, how do you plan to deal with questions of national security and dealing with hostile enemies?
Koki, we need to build up our military strength while we reduce our armed forces. We need to develop more weapons while we cut back on arms production. We need to let our friends know that they have our support as long as they are not our enemies. And we need to let our enemies know that they are closer to us than our friends.
All right, same question. National security and foreign affairs. Adam Goldman?
Listen, we've learned a lesson time after time after time. We need to support the RAF, avoid the blitzkrieg, and make no alliances with France.
Dan Chimchak, do you have a plan for keeping our country safe and secure?
At the end of the day, we need to support our ground troops with sufficient arsenals of gunpowder, and explosives, and all the other supplies that are stored in kegs. We need to keep providing those kegs.
Amy Goldman, how will you plan for foreign affairs?
I believe my strength is in planning all affairs, domestic and foreign. And I think that to improve our status, we need to think big and bold. Blimps and dirigibles may be the best way to go. They make a bold statement to everyone who sees them hovering above. With blimps as the centerpieces of our foreign affairs, we will be the admiration of all parties.
Finally, Mrs. Cashel, let's hear from you on security concerns and foreign threats.
Koki, to me the solution is obvious. When my students don't get along and they begin to stockpile mounds of erasers to throw at each other, I point out that if they use up all those erasers, they won't be able to make any more mistakes. And in this world, if we and our enemies use all those weapons, we won't be around to make any more mistakes either. Let's keep the erasers available, but let's use them in a responsible way.
All right, candidates, we've reached the end of this debate. You each have a chance now to wrap up. chance for you to distinguish yourself from each other. Dan Shimshak, we'll start with you. You have been compared in many ways to Mitt Romney. You are both smart, good-looking, you have great sons, and you are both from Massachusetts. Mr. Romney's family owned a successful business, and of course, your family's business was sweet as well. With so many similarities, Dr. Shimshak, how do you distinguish yourself from Mitt Romney? Why should Americans vote for you?
Well, John, the main difference is that Mitt Romney has a big, shiny, thick, full wallet. And I've spent all my money on name recognition, so my wallet is quite thin. In fact, the campaign for Dan Shimshak has left me broke. And standing on this stage tonight made me realize that there are others who are more capable than I to be president. I'm going back to what I do best, supporting important causes like the Schneider Children's Hospital in Israel, supporting my community, and bringing humor to those around me. I'm afraid I'm taking my name off the ballot. No more exploitation of the name Dan Shimshak. I'm sorry, thank you, and good night.
Wow, our pundits didn't see that coming. Now, let's turn to Amy Goldman for some final thoughts.
I too realized something standing on this stage tonight. In order to be up here, I had to give up what I love doing best. For me, it's not about whether I'm in the Blue Room or the Rose Garden, but whether I can transform an ordinary space into feeling like the Blue Room or the Rose Garden. And it's not important what party I belong to, but what party I belong at. I shouldn't be on the campaign trail. I should be in the social hall, organizing and setting up. I'm sorry, Sonatbatya. I shouldn't have left it all to fall on your shoulders. I'm coming!
This has turned into a night of surprises. In fact, ABC News has just learned that Adam Goldman, though an American citizen, was not born in this country. He is therefore constitutionally prohibited from serving as president and has been removed from the race. Governor Romney, any final words?
Look, Toki, we know from the first few months of this primary season that the public will begin to support anyone who's not Mitt Romney. When the field is crowded with the likes of Herman Cain and Rick Perry and Michelle Bachmann, I didn't mind being the candidate of default. But now, on this stage, is the most worthy candidate of all. I'm withdrawing from the race, and I'm off to the Cayman Islands. Now, Michelle, you deserve the nomination.
Mrs. Kushel, tonight you have shown all of America your wisdom, humility, reason, and ability to lead in a quiet but powerful way. You are indeed a deserving candidate.
Thank you. But tonight I realize where I really belong. It's not in the White House. It's not in any permanent structure at all. I want to be in the modulars. Doing what I love to do. Teaching and revising duty schedules. I'm sorry, but I'm taking my name out of the race.
Well, good night, Cody.
Good night, John.
So, who do you think's going to win the election? Yoey. Yoey.
There you are. We've been looking for you.
We thought you guys were sent to Dr. Weiser's office after diving again.
So, what's going on? Yoey's spaced out again. Oh my god,
Who's all gone?
The candidates, they all dropped out. Now there's no one left in the race.
What are you talking about?
All the candidates who were running for president, they all dropped out of the race. My parents, Mitt Romney, Mrs. Michelle.
What planet are you on?
No, really, I heard them at the debate. They all ended up withdrawing their names from the ballot. Now there's no one to run for election.
You know who might be up for a new challenge?
Who?
Dr. Wagner.